Sit.
With the weights.
The dumbest thing a hitman can do is exactly what your favorite mob shows keep showing you. In the world of mob cinema, certain tropes are so entrenched they might as well be enshrined in the Cosa Nostra Constitution. One of the most enduring and puzzling is the practice of executing a target, then immediately dropping the gun on the scene like a discarded cannoli wrapper.
Tony watches Godfather 2 all the time.
The Sopranos inherits this bit of mob stagecraft from its cinematic godfather, the Godfather itself, where Michael Corleone famously plugs Sollozzo and McCluskey, drops the pistol, and walks out into the night. The logic, we're told, is elegant in its simplicity. You cannot be caught with a murder weapon if you don't have it.
They had my DNA.
In the pre-modern forensics era, that logic held weight. Fingerprinting was rudimentary, serial number tracing straightforward, and DNA testing was the stuff of science fiction. A clean gun, stolen, scrubbed, handled only with gloves, was effectively untraceable once separated from its owner. The biggest risk to the hitman wasn't the bullet's ballistic signature, but being stopped with the weapon in hand during escape. Dropping it at the scene turned a solvable case into a cold one, unless a witness was willing to risk their life testifying against the shooter. Clemenza understood this, hence his immortal parting advice.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli. But The Sopranos often stages this ritual in ways that defy even underworld pragmatism.
Okay, garbage, but Tony shows real due diligence when it comes to electronic debugging.
In a modern, surveillance-saturated world, where DNA, hair, fibers, and microparticle residue are as damning as a fingerprint, abandoning a firearm in broad daylight is less slick than suicidal. Even if a weapon is black market and wiped clean, tossing it so publicly invites immediate risks. A bystander could tackle you, an armed witness might retaliate, or police could pursue you knowing you've disarmed yourself.
Next time you come in, you come heavy or not at all.
For the duration of an escape, a gun isn't just evidence, it's insurance against good Samaritans with hero complexes. Then there's the problem of narrative convenience masquerading as realism. Critics note that The Sopranos' gun-dropping habit owes more to visual shorthand than to plausible mob procedure.
When they find him like this, and somebody will, there'll be a major fucking investigation.
It's a cinematic flourish that signals hit complete to the audience without cluttering the scene with disposal logistics. This works fine on film, less so in life, where a real hitman would sooner toss a weapon into a river, sewer, or industrial furnace than gift wrap it for forensics. In fact, former mafiosi-turned-commentators have called the trope absurd, noting that no competent professional today would leave a weapon on site if they could dispose of it elsewhere without risk.
Louis Brazzi sleeps with the fishes.
Luca Brasi. Luca.
Whatever.
The Godfather-era practice did have a genuine procedural basis in its time. Before computer databases and cell tower pings, a ghost gun without prints or serials was effectively worthless to investigators once it left the shooter's hand.
You do know what this means, Herman.
Stupid enough to say it over the phone.
Modern law enforcement, however, can trace illegal weapons across state lines, recover obliterated serial numbers through compression analysis, and, perhaps most alarmingly, triangulate every phone in range of a crime scene. The Long Island serial killer and the Idaho student murders are recent reminders that off the grid is largely a myth. Even the mob's own history warns against complacency. Memoirs, authentic or otherwise, by ex-hitmen consistently identify possession of the murder weapon as the #1 rookie mistake. Many assumed they'd never be suspects and hid guns in basements or car trunks, only to be undone by a routine search or a bad traffic stop.
Go to the drugs, get 2 pairs of surgical gloves, bleach.
The smarter operators never touched a gun without gloves, wiped borrowed weapons before returning them, and treated every firearm as a potential liability for decades after its last shot.
Vesuvio is where pussy feels safe.
There's also the optics problem. Dropping a gun in a crowded setting doesn't just risk someone else's intervention, it instantly broadcasts organized hit to law enforcement.
They find a piece under the seat.
Unlike random crimes, mob hits follow recognizable patterns, and discarding the weapon on site is a signature move that might as well come with a calling card. In The Sopranos, when Bobby Baccalieri leaves a shirt fragment at a scene, the absurdity is compounded, DNA evidence gift-wrapped alongside the firearm. From a purely tactical standpoint, the only justification left is the calculation that the fleeting danger of carrying a hot gun outweighs any forensic risk once it's abandoned.
I told you it was a piece of shit case.
Santa Claus could have dropped that gun in the snow.
If the weapon is truly sterile, no prints, no DNA, no prior history, it offers nothing but ballistic proof of the murder, not the murderer. Yet that logic is fragile in the modern era, where trace evidence clings to objects like gossip in Newark. What remains is tradition. The mob is as bound to its rituals as the church, sometimes for symbolism, sometimes for efficiency, and sometimes because that's the way it's always been done.
We're down here for the gabagool.
The dropped gun is as much a visual relic as the pork and peppers sandwich or the gabagool joke, an artifact of a time when forensics could be outwitted with tape on the grip and a good pair of gloves. Today, it's mostly an homage, a nod to Clemenza, to Michael, and to a romanticized vision of mob work that values clean exits, cinematic framing, and the unbroken chain of genre cliches. In other words, dropping the gun is less about actual survival strategy and more about myth maintenance. It tells the audience that the killer is a professional, that the deed is done, and that the weapon has served its singular purpose. In reality, the smartest thing a modern hitman could do is smelt the gun to slag and never speak of it again. But in the realm of the Sopranos, half soap opera, half operatic bloodletting, the gun hits the floor, the camera lingers, and the killer walks away unburdened. Leave the gun, take the cannoli, and hope the crime lab's too busy to notice. Take the subscribe button.